Hey there, this video is to show you how to make this cute little jelly bean chicken. So this cute little chicken is completely no sew. The only little thing we need to do after crocheting is to embroider on the beak. And if you want, you can also embroider on the eyes. So for the video, I'm going to be using the Hobbii Honey Bunny yarn. I'm going to use lemon curd, nougat, and red, so it'll look more like the color scheme of this middle guy here. And I have my H hook. It's a 5.0 millimeter, and I have 10 millimeter safety eyes. I have needle, scissors, stitch markers, as well as stuffing. If you're looking for any of these items, I do have my Amazon storefronts listed down below for you in the description. Now, if you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, there are a couple options. The first is the free version that's available on my blog, and the second is the paid version that's available on Ravelry and Etsy. The paid version is a 5-in-1 PDF, and it includes instructions to make the chicken, baby chick, mallard duck, penguin, and flamingo. As well, while you're working through, if you'd like to adjust the playback speed, you can go up to the cog in the upper right corner, and then the drop-down menu will show playback speed. So just tap that, and then you can adjust your speed faster or slower to your liking. And don't forget, you can always pause the video to catch up or take a break. And that's about it. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the wings. And to begin, we're going to leave about a 4-inch tail and then create a slip knot. Next, we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to place 3 double crochet stitches into the 3rd chain from the hook, otherwise known as our starting chain. And then we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch again in that starting chain. Then what I want you to do is leave a tail that's about 4 inches long, because we're going to use these tails to tie them into the chicken as well as crochet the wing on. So you want to leave it long enough that you can tie a knot, pull through, and then that starting chain right there, we're going to add a stitch marker to it, and that'll help you to locate it when you're crocheting the wing on later. So there we go. That's our first wing done. So we want to make a second wing as well. I'm going to go ahead and do it with you because it's so quick to make. So do a slip knot. Remember to leave a longer tail at the beginning. Then we're going to chain 3 and place 3 double crochet stitches into the 3rd chain from the hook, which is also our starting chain. And then chain 2 and slip stitch again into that starting chain. Then cut your yarn, leaving a 4-inch tail, and add your stitch marker into that starting chain. Now, once you've made a couple of these, you may not need the stitch marker to know where your starting chain is, but as you're getting started here, I recommend placing it there. Okay, when I come back, we'll start the body. So to begin the body, again, we're going to be starting with our nougat color, or white if you've chosen white as your main color. And this time we're going to start with a magic ring. Now, it's okay if magic rings are not your favorite thing to do. If you prefer, you could chain 2 and place all the stitches from round 1 in the 2nd chain from the hook, or you can try to work the magic ring like this. What I like to do is to make sure the yarn moves before I start placing my stitches, and then I place the stitches for round 1 very loosely so that the ring closes easier. So for round 1, we're going to place 6 single crochet stitches into the magic ring. Okay. We're going to close our ring. I find it helps if you grab back here where that knot is and pull there. There we go. And then we'll put our stitch marker in the last stitch. All right, and on to round 2. Round 2 is going to be an increase round. So we're going to go from having 6 stitches up to 12 stitches. And to do that, we're going to place 2 single crochets in each stitch. So it's the same as doing an increase in each stitch. Now, if there are any techniques that you find I'm using and you're not unfamiliar with them, go ahead and check out the beginners playlist that is located in the description below, and I have a number of videos showing all these little tips and tricks that I use. Okay, so there's round 2. For round 3, we will also be doing an increase round. This time we're going to go from having 12 stitches up to 18 stitches. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch and then add 2 single crochets in the stitch after that. And we'll repeat that all the way around. So we'll repeat it 6 times in total. And again, we'll finish with 18 stitches. If you're newer to Amigurumi, I do recommend counting your stitches after each round to make sure you still have the correct number. Okay, so next up is round 4. So you want to get your foot color ready. So I'm going to be using the lemon curd, but you'll want to grab that because we're going to add our feet into this round. In this round, we will maintain the 18 stitches, but we're going to do bobble stitches for our feet. So we're going to start with a single crochet in the first stitch, but on that last pull through of that first stitch, we're going to add our foot color. So in this case, it's yellow. And pull through with that color. And I'm just going to leave this tail here at the back to begin, and I will show you how to tie that off when we're done this round. Okay, so to do our bobble stitch, we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2. So we basically just did the beginning of a double crochet stitch. So we need to do that another 4 times in this same stitch, and then we'll connect it all at the top. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2. We need to do it 2 more times. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2. So when you've completed that 5 times, you should have 6 loops on your hook total. And what you want to do is sort of tighten down the yellow ends here, and we're going to grab our body color, so the Nougat, and I am going to use that as to yarn over and pull through the 6 stitches. So pull that through. You want to keep everything fairly tight. You don't want to tighten this too much that you don't have a stitch showing anymore, because you're going to want to work into that in the next round. But you do want to make it fairly tight, and then push over the stitch to make sure you're actually working into the next stitch. And we're going to do a single crochet here. And then we're also going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, so there'll be 5 stitches in total between the feet. And on this 5th stitch, we are going to take our yellow color again. So I'm actually going to cut this with a 4-inch tail, and then I'm going to reattach it. I'm going to have another 4-inch tail, and this pull through, I'm going to use the yellow again, and then we're going to do another bobble stitch. So again, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, through 2. We're going to do that 4 more times in the same stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull the loop, over, through 2. Okay, and once we have the 6 loops on the hook, we're going to grab that nougat color or brown color again, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops on the hook. And again, I'm tightening down the yellow a bit to make it nice and tight. Through, keep tightening, because this helps our bobble stitch to stick out. And we'll keep this tight as well and push over those stitches. And then we are going to single crochet here, this stitch, and also in the next 9 stitches. So a total of 10 stitches here at the end of our round. And when we've completed that, I will show you how I tie off the feet color. So again, at the end of this, you should still have a total of 18 stitches. Okay, so if you haven't already, you can cut off the yellow yarn. Again, I leave a tail. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the beginning tail and end tail of each foot and tie them off together. Now you want to make sure the knots are tight, but you don't want it too tight. See this V here? This is one of the stitches that we need to work into in our next round. So you want to make sure that that doesn't close up completely when you tighten it. And again, do that on this side. See how that one's pretty tight? So I'm going to loosen that little part just to make sure I don't forget it as a stitch. Okay, so on to round 5. Round 5 is a decrease round. So we're going to go from having 18 stitches down to 15 stitches. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then we're going to do a single crochet decrease. And we'll repeat that 3 times around. So single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And then we'll do our single crochet decrease. Now I am doing an invisible decrease. Okay. And repeat that 2 more times. So a total of 3 times. All right, so there's round 5. So for the next 2 rounds, rounds 6 and 7, I'm going to work them off camera. So for those rounds, you're going to just single crochet in each stitch around. So at the end of round 7, you will still have 15 stitches. So again, rounds 6 and 7, you're going to single crochet in each stitch around. And I'll meet you back here for the beginning of round 8. Okay, so here I am at the end of round 7. And before we finish round 8, what we need to do is measure out where the wings are going to go. So we measure it out because everyone crochets a little bit differently. So sometimes the stitches slant more than others. So this is one surefire way to make sure that our wings look even in comparison to the feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the center 7 stitches. So start with the very center and place a stitch marker. Now, if you want to, you can add all 7 stitch markers. If you don't want to, that's okay. I'm going to add them in for the video, so just to give you a better visual of what's going on here. Okay, so there we go. You can see those middle 7 stitches. Then if you turn and you want to pay attention to the stitch, one stitch to the right of the stitch markers. If you're left-handed, do everything over here on the left-hand side. But I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go this way. And what we want to make sure is that the next stitch that we work, so the first stitch of round 8, is this stitch right here. So for me, it works out perfectly. For you, you may need to either remove a stitch here or crochet 1 extra stitch in there. Whatever you need to do, go ahead and do that. And you want to make sure that the first stitch of round 8 is right here. So if you need to remove a stitch or add a stitch, you don't count that as a stitch in a round. We're going to start round 8 right here. So I'm going to put my hook back in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the first wing, and we're going to use this marked starting chain. I'm going to insert my hook into that starting chain, and what I like to do is have a tail on either side of where my hook is here, so that then we also end up with a tail on either side of the stitch. You don't have to do it that way. Okay, and then we're going to also work into the next stitch of the body, and we're going to single crochet those together just like that. Okay, so let's remove the stitch marker on the wing and all these pesky stitch markers out here. Like I said, you don't need to add those all in, but I think it gives a better visual as we're working here. Okay, next up, we're going to work across the front here. So in round 8 here, we're adding the wings, but we're also doing a decrease round. So we're actually going from having 15 stitches down to 12 stitches. So next up here at the body, we're going to do a decrease, a single crochet decrease. So again, I'm doing an invisible decrease. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Followed by another single crochet decrease. Okay, and then we're going to find our other wing. We need to find the starting chain that we've marked off here. We'll insert our hook into that starting chain, and then we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch of the body and single crochet those together. And then you can take out that stitch marker if you like. Okay, and then working just in the body here, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to do a single crochet decrease, and then we are going to single crochet in the last 2 stitches of the round. So again, we're going from having 15 stitches down to 12, but we've also crocheted on our wings. Before we head into round 9, we can add our tails inside here. So see how we've got this stitch right here? This is the stitch that crocheted the 2 pieces together. So what I want to do is I want to pull the tail in on each side of that stitch. And then I'm going to tie them together, just like I did with the ends of the feet. Pull that in. So you'll have one on each side of that stitch, and then tie it together. You don't have to weave in your ends this way. I just find it adds a little bit more stability to that wing. Makes it a little bit stronger for all the little ones pulling on it. Okay, and then you can just tuck your ends inside. Move on to the next wing. And again, we find the stitch that crocheted the wing on. And tie it off. All right, so just tuck those ends in, and then we're ready for round 9. So round 9 is an increase round. So we're gonna go from having 12 stitches up to 24 stitches. And to do that, we are going to place 2 single crochets into each stitch around. So increase in each stitch around. All right, and then for rounds 10, 11, and 12, you're going to single crochet in each stitch. So again, I'm going to do those 3 rounds off camera, but you will single crochet in each stitch for rounds 10, 11, and 12, and then I will meet you back here for round 13. All right, so here we are at the beginning of round 13, and we're going to go from having 24 stitches down to 21 stitches, so it's a decrease round. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 6 stitches and then do a single crochet decrease. So again, single crochet in the next 6 stitches, and then we'll do our single crochet decrease. 1, 2, 3, yep. And repeat that 3 times in total. Okay, so next up is round 14. Round 14 is also a decrease round. So this time we're going to go from 21 stitches down to 18. And to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches and then do a single crochet decrease and repeat that 3 times around. So again, single crochet in the next 5 stitches and then a single crochet decrease. Okay, and then for round 15, again, we're doing a decrease round, and this time we're going from 18 stitches down to 15 stitches. So to do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then do a single crochet decrease and repeat that 3 times in total. So again, single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then do a single crochet decrease. Okay, so before we start round 16, we're going to add in our eyes. So even if you've decided to embroider on your eyes after, I would still recommend adding a stitch marker to where the eyes, the safety eyes would be placed. And that'll just help you to determine where your beak goes and where to crochet to embroider your eyes. So again, I'm going to place this down on a flat surface And I'm going to take a look at my instructions here. And the instructions say to place the safety eyes 6 stitches apart on round 12. So I know that we attached our wings here on round 8, and you can tell which round when we start a new round by the indents here. So we have round 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm going to grab one of my safety eyes here. So let's count again. 9, 10, 11, 12. Place that in there. And then this may not be in the right spot. I just kind of guess at first, and then I'm going to count over 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll place my other safety eye right there. And don't put the backs on yet. Just take a look. Flatten it out. See if they're in the right spot. So I would say we need to move them over each 1 stitch. One that way. That way. See, that keeps them still 6 stitches apart on the same round. Okay, and I think that looks good just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add the backs on. You can secure the backs on however you like. I'm just making these for my own Easter decor, so I'm not gifting to a child or anything. Although my kids may steal them, but they're a bit older. And then what you also probably want to do here is to start stuffing the body and head. So the main thing when you're stuffing is to make sure that you get it all the way down into the bottom and into all the little nooks and crannies. These guys are pretty easy to stuff because they don't have a lot of shaping to them. But if you've got a bigger amigurumi with a lot of shaping, you'll want to make sure that you get the stuffing into where all the increases and decreases are, and it'll help to accentuate the shape. So with these guys, the one thing I notice is that sometimes it looks like they have a bit of a flat head. So to fix that, you want to tuck extra stuffing around sort of the rim of the head here as you go. So I'm not going to put it all in right now. I'll do some more after the next round. But you see how if you bulk up under here, that helps to stop from having that flat head. Okay, so on to round 16. Round 16 is also a decrease round, and this time we go from having 15 stitches down to 12 stitches. Oh, I've stuffed my yarn right in there. Come on. All right. So again, we're going to go from having 15 stitches down to 12. So to do that, we are going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches and then do a single crochet decrease. So see how I've got my finger stuck in here? So that I'm preventing the stuffing from getting caught in the hook. Well, as much as possible anyways. So again, you're single crocheting in 3 and then doing a decrease and repeating 3 times. So we'll have a total of 12 stitches after this round is complete. Okay, so again, add some extra stuffing there under the rim of the head. Depending on the size yarn you're using, if you're using a bulkier yarn like this, you'll still be able to get in, even with just the 6 stitches. After this round, I find I can use the end of my hook to kind of tuck a little bit more stuffing underneath. But if you're using a thinner yarn, that might not be possible. Okay. So then on to round 17. Round 17, we're going to go from having 12 stitches down to 6. So we're going to do a decrease over each set of 2 stitches. So 6 decreases. And to keep those tight with minimal holes, you want to just keep pulling on your yarn as you go. Because when you have this many decreases in a row, you can get a lot of holes if you're not careful. So keep those stitches nice and tight. Okay, and so for the chicken, I'm not going to do the hair tuft because we've got the comb at the top here. So cut about a 6-inch tail. And then what you can do is, if you need to, add some more stuffing in there. See, there's space, you could definitely add a bit more. And then we're going to cinch together those top 6 stitches. Okay. Let's go up through the front loop. And then pull those all together. I usually make a little knot here before pushing my yarn into the center. Okay. All right, so let's measure out where the comb is going to go. And this is where having those eyes placed in will make it easier to add the comb. So I'm going to place stitch markers in before I start crocheting it on. And I want to start in the center, 3 rounds above the eyes. So 1, 2, 3. And I would call this pretty close to the center. It's a little bit off, but I can make sure that my next one goes a little bit closer to the center. So we'll start here. And then we want to place another stitch marker every 1.5 to 2 rounds after that. So we want a total of 4 stitch markers here, and we want, 1.5 to 2. So we'll try here. And then we're kind of at the middle, so that we're gonna go here, and then we'll place one more at the back. Make sure, oh, we're kind of going on a slant here. So let's move this over one. And I also moved it a little bit closer. If they're not perfect, it's okay. And then we'll place the last one. Let's go with about here. Okay, so these stitch markers represent where we're going to place our single crochet stitches, and then we're going to chain in between those. So grab your red yarn or whatever color you're using for the comb. And I am going to start with a little slip knot here just to make sure it's secure when I go in for my stitch. And then I'm going to, once I have my hook in there, take the stitch marker out just so it's not in the way. We'll start just with a quick little secure slip stitch there, and then we're going to place a single crochet here, and then we're going to chain 3, and then we'll go in this next stitch where our stitch marker is, take our stitch marker out, we're going to do a single crochet, and we're going to chain 3 again, go in where the stitch marker is, there we go, chain 3, and single crochet here. There we go. And then I'm gonna just do a little slip stitch here to end off. You could end off using whatever method you'd like here. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the yarn and pull the tail. Okay, so there's our comb. We just need to weave our ends in, and we will embroider our beak next. I will grab my lemon curd. You need about 12 inches should be more than enough here. Okay, and thread your needle. And then we are going to measure out, based on where those eyes are, where to place our beak. So we want to insert our hook horizontally, 1 round down from the eyes. So this is the round the eyes are on. 1 round down from the eyes. And you want to go under 3 stitches. So to do that, it says we may need to go under like a half stitch. So see how I'm going in between the V of that stitch? And then I'm going to come out the V of this stitch rather than just going under 3 full stitches, because then our beak will be at the side. We're going to go under in the center of those 2 stitches. Okay, so that looks like our photo, and then we're going to push that through. You want to leave 3 to 4 inches for your tail here, and then you're just going to repeat through the same set of holes 4 to 5 times. If you want your beak to be a little wider, then come down beside the last string that you placed there. So you go down beside and then go above and keep repeating that, and it'll make the beak wider. If you want it thinner, then come back over the top. I think that's good. And then all I'm going to do here is I'm going to tie a knot right here beside this hole. I want to make sure it's close to the hole so that then when you push your ends in, the knot will disappear inside as well. There we go. And then just push those ends into the body. And there we go. We have ourselves a little jelly bean chicken. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.